Well, hello there, my babies. How goes it? Welcome to episode 13 of Box Office and Beyond, hosted by me, Tom Lashley, in conjunction with the wonderful Gower Street Brackets Analytics. Episode 13, hey? Unlucky for some, but not for you, you lucky listeners, because what I've got in store for you is a lovely, great, exciting episode, maybe. I'm trying to keep the intros shorter because I do know I waffle on. I haven't actually done what I could do to stop that by making notes on what I'm going to say. I've realized that now as I'm looking at my episode notes, so bear with me. But today, I'm going to be talking about 2024, have a little wider look at the slate and with sort of particular focus on original films and looking at previous years and this upcoming year with like how many original films tend to make it into the top 20 box office films. Top 20 box office films. Yeah, that makes sense. Spoiler alert, it's not always that many. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a little quick discussion about the Valentine's Day treat of the year, Madam Web. Stay tuned. So, Madam Web, the Valentine's Day Spectacular. If anyone is listening and doesn't know what Madam Web is, it stars Nepotism's Dakota Johnson. She plays a character called Cassandra Webb. Yep. Cassandra Webb with 2 B's, who develops the power to see the future. Forced to confront revelations about her past, she forges a relationship with 3 young women bound for powerful destinies if they can all survive a deadly present. Having just had Christmas, I started a few deadly presents myself. So, yeah, a bit of an interesting one, this, because I remember from when the very first trailer dropped, as they say, it kind of seemed sort of doomed to fail in a way. I think because there was a particular line in it that did just get kind of completely picked apart on the internet / social media. You can guess which one. Formerly known as something that rhymes with Schmitter. Or still called that, really, unless you're a tech bro trying to impress Elon Musk. Yeah, so basically, I'll tell you what, let me just whack a little clip from the trailer in now, and then I will discuss the fallout from that trailer. Okay? I'm going to use my great tech skills to do that, because I'm an absolute podcasting editing wizard.
I've seen that man before.
So who is he?
Ezekiel Sims. He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
Wait.
Yeah, that's the line. Yeah, quite clunky, you could say. Not the most naturalistic of dialogue, and not delivered particularly convincingly. So yeah, basically, when that trailer came out, that line obviously got, picked apart and was just constantly. It was used as like a meme for ages. It was very funny, to be fair. But it did get me thinking, like, God, sometimes the film might be fine, right? Like, it actually might be fine. We don't know yet, but yeah. But it just seems like the internet and then therefore people have just decided that they're just not going to see it, or it's going to be crap or whatever, because it does have like, an unparalleled ability to make something a joke, and it's kind of sealed the film's fate already. Harsh world, I know for sure. Anyway, it might not be the case. I have been told by Gower Street to be diplomatic in what I say about the film, as like I said, I've not seen it yet, so it would be be remiss of me to completely judge it based on the trailer. And also I've been told that it's important to obviously maintain good relationship with studios, and so basically they said say what you want to say and then just bleep out anything that I think or that they think might be a little bit harsh. So we just kind of keep it nice and civil. Okay. So this is, here goes, right? Okay. So I think Madam Web, from the very first trailer and pretty much everything that we've seen since then, looks like Don Johnson's daughter. You know, poor Sydney Sweeney. Melanie Griffith. Apparently she's going out with Chris Martin from Coldplay.
He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
Well, that's that covered. That should maybe be the whole episode, I think. That's probably a good 20, 30 minutes in there. I'll just give it an edit, and then we'll see how much time I've got left to fill. All right, well, I might see you on the other side. I might see you just for the outro. Crikey. I've got some episodes still to fill, haven't I? Right, okay. I guess I will be taking a look at the 2024 slate then. Phew, bloody hell. The lawyers are after me. Okay, so, right, as I said in the intro, I'm going to be sort of talking about originals, upcoming originals anyway, and then how they tend to perform or not in terms of box office. We're talking UK and domestic, but we're talking about the top 20. So obviously, yeah, they do make money, right? Some originals do make money, guys. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting to talk about. It's quite a nice little follow-on from episode 12, where I talked about original animations. So if you haven't listened to that, then what are you doing here? Why would you start on episode 13, you weirdos? Yeah, go back and listen. I mean, don't even start on episode 12. Start on episode 1 if you haven't listened to any. But if you have missed episode 12 somehow, then pop yourself back and listen to that first, because it's really good. Really, really good. I mean, it might be top 5 podcasts of all time, released by Gowstream. So, yeah, check that out. Anyway, so I was having a little look at the upcoming films for this year. And in the UK and in domestic, currently only 3 out of the projected top 20 are original films. Am I going to tell you what those 3 are? Am I? Or do you need to get yourself a little forecast subscription? So, one is a music biopic. It's Back to Black, all right? It's Back to Black, okay? I've told you, all right? You've twisted my arm, I've told you. And that's in the UK, so not in domestic, because Amy Winehouse, you'd think a film about Amy Winehouse will probably over-index in the UK. So I don't even know if you can really count that as like a proper original, because the central character is like already known. So it's a bit of a grey area, right? Same with the Marley film, right? And like Elvis in 2022. So they're a bit, yeah. I'm not sure they count as originals because, because of what I just said. So you can really call it 2, right? Properly original stories. I'm not going to tell you what they are, actually. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I'm looking forward to seeing both of them. Maybe one of them's already come out and I just haven't seen it yet. Who knows? You're going to have to get yourself down to the old forecast. Get yourself forecast and let me know. A caveat at this stage, though, would be that we're often, a bit further out. We're often a little bit more conservative on original films' box office potential. It's the only time in my life I will ever be considered conservative. There are often like unforeseen factors that could cause films to break out, which we might sort of know a bit nearer the time. So original, like far out from like release of kind of big IP titles, we kind of have a really good number anyway. We kind of know, like we kind of feel like we've got a pretty good grasp on what its box office will be. With originals, we're a little bit more, like I said, conservative just at the start, and then as we get more information, we get a sense of the anticipation, we get tracking information, all that sort of stuff. We then build the number a bit closer or take it down if it looks like a piece of crap. So there are often unforeseen factors that could cause films to break out. Like obviously this time last year, who would have thought Barbie and Oppenheimer would have been, the big films of the year, depending on which territory. I mean, I would have, as I said, because I thought that Barbie was going to make $1 billion from ages before, but actually probably not. Maybe not this far. Was it 5 months before? So yeah, maybe not. But yeah, so that's the reason for that. So take this with a pinch of salt. So the 2/3 maybe, but probably 2 this year that we've got forecast to be, in the top 20 is compared to 4 that made it into the top 20 last year. But again, a couple of them do require some VAR. Like, even like Barbie, obviously it's an original story, but it is based on a very, very well-known quantity beforehand. If it didn't have all the other stuff around it, I imagine it, that would have limited its potential and limited its audience. But even like Oppenheimer and Napoleon, which, they're kind of in that grey area of like, they are original films, but they are about people who existed and audiences are aware of. So they're known quantities beforehand in some capacity, but all for differing reasons. So even there's sort of like 3 of the 4 that are still a bit like, VAR-y. If anyone don't know what VAR is, sorry. But yeah, basically a bit like they require a little extra look from people in Stockley Park. Anyway, so in 2023 in domestic, however, 6 of them, 6 of the top 20 were what you would class as originals. Again, like the ones mentioned, some of them a bit dodgy. Also, one of them was Taylor Swift. I don't think that counts as an original. Yeah. And also another one was Sound of Freedom, which was an original, also based on a true story. But it also had reasons, shall I say, for doing the numbers it did domestically. It made like nearly $200 million at the domestic box office. Absolutely crazy. But we all know why that is. I'm gonna not say any more. But yeah, hey, still counts towards the box office, no matter how misguided the viewers were. But then in 2022, we had, again, pretty slim pickings for original films making a load of wonga at the box office. It's just 3 in the UK, which again, one of them was Elvis. So like the same thing as we've said about Back to Black, if that does even make the top 20. But yeah, and also other films that we've mentioned based on peeps already known. Not sure it counts. Domestic actually had 5 in 2022, 6 if you do include Elvis. So that's a bit better. However, in 2020, albeit a year that was massively curtailed by something, 12 out of the top 20 were bona fide originals. No VAR, no asterisks, properly originals. Yeah? You'd think I would have made a list of what they are. You would have thought that, wouldn't you, when I was doing my notes? Have I? No. However, with the magic of the pause button, I have them. Whee! So, this is in the UK. We've got 1917. We had Tenet. We had Parasite. We had Gentleman, The. We had Jojo Rabbit. We had Onward. We had The Invisible Man. We had Dark Waters. We had Military Wives. We had Bombshell. We had Unhinged. We also had The Call of the Wild. They are the 12. I think The Call of the Wild was original. I will need to check that. So it's 11 or 12. All right. Hey, you do your own research. Don't come to me for research. That's not what we do. Oh, wait, it is. Anyway, yeah. So 2020, obviously, big reason for why studios did not want to release any big budget, big old IP numbers. But hey, you wanted them then. Why don't you want them now? So I just thought it was a bit of a shame. It's not exactly breaking news, but I just find it sad that 2 or 3 is actually like par for the course. Because even before the old Panini, there was always just only a handful of originals that made the top 20. And yeah, hey, making money isn't everything, is it? No. And also, those sorts of films don't need to make as much money as the others because they didn't cost as much to make. It's the wacky world of capitalism, boys and girls. But yeah, I just think it's a bit of a shame because so that's why I'd quite like to class Barbie and Oppenheimer as originals. So for once, we could have 2 of the biggest films of the year be originals. But yeah, there will always be a bit of an asterisk with them, unfortunately. Just like there will be with every trophy Man City have won since 2008. So, having said all that, I think it's worth having a little look at some upcoming original films that I think are worth pointing out, and films I'm looking forward to. Films I think you should all be looking out for. Obviously, there are loads more than what I'm going to say, and these aren't necessarily in any sort of order. I've just picked a few from things we've been looking at, different, stuff we've seen about them, whatever. Just the ones I'm kind of looking forward to, but there are also more, but we don't have all the time in the world. You don't want to be listening to me for any more than you have to. Not that anyone's forcing you to listen to this, but it'd be nice if you carried on. Not long to go, folks. I've just got this bit to do. So, yeah. Obviously, we've had Migration, which has just come out in the UK, but it's been out for a little while. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah. That's an original. I love Illumination, and I think, yeah, it's a shame it didn't make more money box office wise, but as I've said, making money isn't everything. Well, I suppose it is if you want to make more films, but hey, I really liked it. We've had a new trailer for this just in the last week, but I really, really, really like the look of If, the Ryan Reynolds film about imaginary friends. It looks like it will definitely make me cry. And hopefully it'll make plenty of cash money at the box office. I do think Ryan Reynolds his stock is so high, even if this is, I think him and John Krasinski, who's directed it, called it a live action Pixar, essentially, with its kind of, I guess they want to appeal to that kind of wider Pixar audience than just sort of like a normal kids film. I'd imagine it'll have loads of heart, and also, because it's got Ryan Reynolds in, it'll probably be well funny. And I think that's really good. There's also a film that's been plopped on the calendar recently, is called Red One, which is starring The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, to his friends, of which I am one. So there's not that much information. It's a Christmas-y one, but it's not your sort of necessarily family Christmas film. So the synopsis that we've got so far is: after a villain kidnaps Santa from the North Pole, an elf, which stands for extremely large and formidable operative. So I guess an elfo, or is they just extremely large and formidable is like what they are. But then they're an operative version of that. I don't know. Okay, so an elfo, who's played by Dwayne Johnson, has to partner with the world's most accomplished tracker, played by Chris Evans, not the radio DJ, to find Santa and save Christmas. Hey, doesn't that just sound delightful? I've actually been like a big fan of the kind of recent Christmas films that are a bit darker, or just the action ones. Like you had Violent Night, you had Silent Night, you had Schmilent Night. No, you also had Fat Man. A few others that I just kind of I quite enjoyed the ones that take Christmas on a slightly darker thing, or do something a little bit different with it as a genre thing. So yeah, I'm excited to see more, so we can probably gauge the tone of what it's going to be like. Is it going to be your classic kind of Dwayne Johnson action thing, just set at Christmas, or what? Who knows? I also loved All of Us Strangers. That is still in cinemas, so please, if you haven't seen it, go and see it. Again, that is based on a book, but not one that's like that well known, so I think you can still count it as original. As well, I also love the look of The Fall Guy, Wicked Little Letters, Wolves. That's Wolves, not Wolves. Wolves, FS. There is a reason for that. And most of all, and a film I have mentioned before on the pod, even if you are listening to episode 13 for the first time, the film by Alex Garland, Civil War. Do yourselves a favour if you haven't already, and check out the trailer. It just looks great. It looks, and it's the kind of classic obvious thing to say. It looks so bloody relevant for today. But it obviously really does look very prescient with the upcoming and unfortunately seems inevitable re-election of Donald Trump. I really hope that's not the case. I was going to say apologies to any Trump fans listening, but I'm not sorry to any Trump fans listening. Go listen to another podcast. I don't care. So, yeah, I think, anyway, Civil War, it's the kind of cliche thing of like, it's very, current, and it's a commentary on the state of politics in the world now. So, but I just think it looks great. And it's got Nick Offerman as president. It's also got Jesse Plemons doing his classic weird guy who's just stealing every scene he's in. And it's also got Kirsten Dunst and some other people. Loads of people, in fact. And I just love Alex Garland. I think everything he's done in both film and TV has been great. So I'm a fan. I'm a fanboy, all right? I'm a fanboy. But I'm looking forward to that. We've also, just going back, the original films we've had is obviously The Holdovers and Poor Things, both of which are sweeping the awards season with nominations. So it's good. That's really nice, right? They're not necessarily sweeping the box office into the top 20, but like I said before, they don't need to because they didn't cost as much to make as something like Spider-Man or whatever. It's not come out this year, but you know what I mean. Madam Web. It probably didn't cost as much as Madam Web. Going to make more money than it for. Anyway, yeah, so they do. The original films do exist, as we know. Plenty coming out that you should all go and see. I just kind of do think we shouldn't have to have a global pandemic for people to watch loads of original films at the cinema. But hey, hang on, I just thought maybe original filmmakers were behind the pandemic. Oh my God. Wake up, sheeple. Wake up, sheeple. So yeah, that means you have to go and watch all the lovely original films they make so they don't force into another lockdown. Oh my God, my mind is blown by this. I think I've just blown the whole thing wide open. I am legally required to say right now that I do not think that original filmmakers were responsible for the pandemic. Alrighty, folks. Well, that's it for episode 13. A bit of a shorter one today. God, you're welcome. I told you it'd be lucky for you. Yeah, let me know, whatever, as usual, any feedback, any thoughts, any comments, anything you think I missed. Yeah, whatever, just, hey, message me. Don't even need to be about the podcast. We can just have a chat. It's always nice to talk, isn't it? Nice to talk and put off work, aka doing a podcast. So yeah, I'll be back in a couple of weeks with the next one. As usual, absolutely no idea what it's going to be about. See you there.
He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.